to this episode of Just the Two.
It's been a while. Wow, has it been a while. We took a break from our Behind the Zoo channel, not really because we wanted to, but because we had some lighting failures.
He's being nice. I broke a light.
Yes, Melanie broke one of our lights, but now we're back in full effect with LED lighting that is shatterproof.
So last time we talked about moving Mike in before we got married, and today we're talking about the rehearsal dinner and the day before the wedding, all the crazy things that we had to do.
And as you might imagine, that's the day where we can remember the least. For some reason,
Seriously?
we were driving home from VBS tonight. This week, our kids are at VBS. Yes, they have gone to 3 different VBSs at 3 different churches this summer. But this week is the VBS that's at our church. So Melanie and I are also volunteering. And it's only day 2 out of 5, y'all. And I'm tired. But we got home tonight and we're doing it behind the zoo because before midnight tonight, I am putting a video out on this channel. So, anyway, while we were on the drive home tonight, we were trying to think about that day before our wedding. And it was really hard to actually remember some stuff from that day. But what we do remember is the rehearsal itself and the rehearsal dinner afterwards.
Yes, the food was awesome.
Yes, but before we get to the dinner part, which is actually probably the part that we both want to talk about, we met and earlier that day, and started moving Melanie into our apartment. Because right after the wedding was over, we were going to head off on our honeymoon, which we can't wait to show you pictures and stuff that we have, video even, from our honeymoon when we get to that point in this story. But the day before the wedding, we were moving Melanie in so that when we came home from the honeymoon, she would just be able to come home. I'd carry her across the threshold, which I did, and we would just begin our life together. Did you forget that I carried you across the threshold?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the apartment.
Yeah, at the apartment.
You've carried me across the threshold, I remember.
At every place you've ever lived, I carried Melanie across the threshold. Very patriarchal. No, it's just a tradition, right?
It's romantic.
It is romantic. So, so we moved her in, and then later that day we had our rehearsal. We figure it was about 4 or 5 o'clock. We can't even remember the time.
I think it was 5 o'clock to make sure everyone could get off of work.
Yeah, and that went really smooth. We even despite the fact that the way people stood on the stage, the way our wedding party stood on the stage was not typical.
Yeah, not traditional.
Very untraditional. Instead of them being lined up on either side, we actually had them kind of forming
like a semicircle.
A semicircle around the back of the stage. So
they could actually see us.
Yeah, when we were facing the minister, they were looking at us. So able to make eye contact and watch us get married, rather than what mostly happens at most weddings, which is everyone's looking at the back of the bride and groom. So that was pretty cool. I'm glad we did it that way. I wouldn't change that at all. It was really cool. But you would think that our rehearsal wasn't smooth because of that, because everyone was like having to do something different than almost every other wedding they'd ever seen. But it did go really smooth.
It did. And we had a large wedding party, so getting that many people to figure out what they were doing, I think we ran through it maybe twice. The entering, the going in and leaving, because we went
pre-sessional and the recessional.
Yeah, because we went in one way and out the next.
Oh yeah, because the church we were getting married in didn't have a center aisle.
I don't understand why churches are even designed like that.
So the rehearsal went fine. It was no big deal. I met some of his family. I met some of his family there, which was really, really cool. Like his uncle and his cousin, which I had met his cousin before, but reconnected with her. Yeah.
So that was really fun. And I'm glad that it happened that way, because I probably wouldn't have been able to talk to her.
Oh, on the day of the wedding.
Right, yeah. We got a really nice chat with his side of the family, of people that I had either not met or only had met once before. So that was really fun. I'm glad that they were able to come to the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, while they were in town. So we finished that up pretty quickly, and then we had the rehearsal dinner at a place that we love, that was very special to us, that my parents agreed to, because in keeping with tradition, my parents, the groom's parents, paid for the rehearsal dinner. And we went to a place called Tarantino's, which, if you think, wait, haven't I heard that name before? Tarantino's is where Melanie and I had our second date. And if you go back to the video that I'm leaving a card for in the upper right hand corner right now. That is the date where Melanie didn't tell me that I should dress up, and I showed up to the date in shorts and a polo shirt.
You had a hoodie.
I had a polo shirt, and the hoodie was
And
over the polo shirt. And so ever since then, that place was pretty special to us. Because our first date there was basically me being embarrassed about being underdressed and her going, I didn't think I had to tell you what to wear.
To wear jeans.
So, anyways, that's where we chose, and it's an Italian restaurant, so...
We love Italian food.
Oh, it was so good. Man, I miss Tarantino's being in that one little place in downtown.
Which was so romantic. I don't know why they ever left there.
Shouldn't have never done it. Shouldn't have moved, Tarantino's. We loved it right where you were. But we had, some kind of typical Italian-American food. Chicken Parmesan, baked ziti, meatballs, and then side spaghetti, basically. And I think like a side salad or something, too.
We had salad.
Yeah, and that was delicious. And
so good.
And it was served as a, kind of like a buffet.
Like a buffet. Because they had buffet stations, which was really cool because I don't think maybe less than 40 people were there.
Yeah, and Tarantino's, at the time anyway, had a side room, like a back private rentable room. That's what it was, is you're purchasing the meal, but you're also renting the party space, which is a private secluded room in the back left of the place where they used to be. So it was a nice little intimate thing, and you walk in there and it was all set up and everyone was able to just come in and just hang out and talk and chow down, and it went by very fast, let me tell you. I can't even remember who. I barely remember the food, quite honestly.
I only remember the food.
And I'm someone who always remembers the food because I always, for whatever, probably because of my upbringing, all the best memories of holidays and birthdays and everything revolved around food. Mom's kitchen, and I don't know if that's a Cuban thing. It is, actually. Let me tell you, it is a Cuban thing. But there's many. It's not just Cuban. That's an Italian thing. That's a Greek thing. Mom's kitchen, and many other cultures too. They're all flying into my mind now. Mom's kitchen is very special. So a lot of my favorite memories revolve around food. But then at my own wedding, food just wasn't even on my mind. Only she was on my mind. So I remember when the meal was over and we were about to leave, and we were like, okay, well, it's time to go. And my friends had put kind of a bachelor party, nothing crazy. I'm a Christian. I have no interest in sullying my wedding with any kind of shenanigans. So they did a really cool thing where my friends, and even my dad and my brother-in-law were there. We got together and we were out till like maybe 1 a.m. and which was, by the way, the rehearsal dinner ended at like 8:30.
Yeah.
So for many more hours into the night, late into the night, we were out and hanging out. But I remember right before we left to go do that, it hit Melanie and I like, hey, this is the last time we're gonna see each other. And it was the last time we were gonna see each other until the doors opened and she walked down the aisle, and I would be up with the minister and my groomsmen up at the front, seeing her for the first time since the rehearsal. So I remember that. I do remember that last hug, embracing her.
I do remember that. It was at your car.
And kissing her, and so before the one at the car, which was truly the last hug, but when we were still in the restaurant, I said, hey, well, I guess I'll see you later. And I hugged her, and I remember my brother-in-law, John, going, oh, this is it. And he went, Barbie, my sister's name is Barbie, saying, Barbie, this is it. This is their last hug, their last embrace before tomorrow. And Barbara's like, oh. I remember, for some reason, I remember that moment vividly, because the next time I saw you, you were radiant in your dress and your hair in curls and your veil and everything, walking down the aisle, giggling the whole way. Because
gosh, I am such a nervous laugher.
She's a nervous laugher. When she gets nervous, she just laughs. She's laughing the whole way down the aisle.
That's because I told Daddy to make me laugh. Otherwise, I was going to bust out in tears, and that would have ruined my makeup. It's like, Daddy, make me laugh. Daddy, make me laugh.
Better to laugh like an insane person than have bad makeup, I guess. So that was it. I hugged her, and then she went home, and
Daddy and I watched Father of the Bride, which is one of our favorite movies, and basically cried through the whole thing. But before then, we actually skipped a part, and I don't know if you remember this. That when we were rehearsing and Daddy walked me down the aisle, he actually gave Mike a dowry of $1.
If you're familiar with the dowry system,
He still has the dollar bill.
He handed me $1. I still have the dollar bill. It's folded twice. It's in my drawer. But yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot to mention that, the dowry. It was a joke. We
totally a joke.
We don't believe in the dowry system. But that was...
Clearly I'm worth more than $1.
Clearly! At least 5. Totally got gypped. I'm supposed to get like a mule or something, right? Livestock. So anyway, that's how the night ended for Melanie. I eventually retreated to our apartment, and I remember my friend Tyler spent the night because in the morning he
had to drive cars.
He and I woke up and we had to go take our vehicle to the hotel where we would spend the honeymoon night, so that when we woke up the day after the wedding, we would have a vehicle to be able to immediately leave town and drive off into the sunset. So Tyler helped me so that when I went to drop my car off, he gave me a ride back to the church. So he was there that night. I remember it was like 3 or 4 a.m., just couldn't sleep, and it finally hit me then. This is really happening. And it's in a good way. In a nervous way, but a great way. In a terrifying way, but in a wonderful way. And I don't know how to better say it. It's a mix of so many emotions.
Yeah, it is.
All hitting you like a wave at once. Like, my life is about to change forever in the best way imaginable. But everything I've known is about to just be given a blank slate. It's a new beginning. It was hard to sleep that night. It really was. But eventually
I had cried through the movie, so I was out.
You were exhausted from the crying?
I was so tired.
So that gets us to the night before the wedding. And that's what we're going to cover in the next episode of Just the Two. We will actually share clips from our wedding video. And I can't wait to show you all that. That's really special. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, comment, and share, and do all that fun stuff. Please check out our other channel where we daily vlog. And we will see you next time on Just the Two.